Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox and I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News is an offering of the Compliance Podcast Network. August 18th, 2019, the Sunday Book Review. We first begin by taking things in a little bit different direction with a work of fiction today, Inland by Taya Obreht. In this book, a lawless, downtrodden part of the Arizona Territory, a story about two people. Nora is a frontierswoman awaiting the return of men in her life, specifically her husband, who has gone for a search for water and for their parched household, and her elder sons. Nora is waiting with her youngest son, who is convinced that a mysterious camel is lurking around their property. The camel is part of a science fiction tale in which the communication between Nora, her son, and the spirits really take hold. And although it happens in the Old West, it's really a work of science fiction. And I raise this and I bring this up today because it really explains a lot about storytelling and compliance and how you can use something as basic as an old Western novel as part of your storytelling to help convince or get across compliance concepts. And now in a completely different direction, we have Job, a new translation by Edward Greenstein. In this new translation of the book of Job, the author finds the dialogue between Job and God to really lead to a conclusion that God is all-powerful and cannot be defeated, not that he is merciful. And this is the reason that you should submit to the will of God. So that's certainly a different or interesting translation and approximation of the book of Job. Next up, book Lithium by Walter Brown. And this takes a look at the drug lithium and how it's been used since it has been really manufactured as a pharmaceutical product. I did not realize, but lithium is a naturally occurring element in nature, and lithium has been around with its properties well known since the 1800s. And indeed, just as Coca-Cola once had cocaine in it, 7-Up had lithium in it, which was a calming product. And of course, Lithia Springs in Georgia is well known for hosting such presidents as FDR. It's a fascinating study of the drug of lithium and how it's been used to treat bipolar orders. And we conclude this Sunday book review by taking a look at the book A Great Partnership by Christian Keller. This is a study of the partnership of General Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. And it's not really a dual biography, but takes a look at the relationship between these two very different men. Lee, obviously a Tidewater aristocrat, Jackson, actually a backwoods Presbyterian. But it also really looks at how leadership evolved between the two, because Lee was notorious for making very general orders and having his subordinates carry it out. And it is a very good study around the roles of a strategic leader, key strategic advisor, the value of friendship within your leadership team, and the importance of adjusting your leadership style to account for risk. It's a fascinating study of two very different men, yet who mesh together to make a more effective team. From the business perspective and from the compliance perspective, you of course have to set aside the lost cause components of such a book, but I think it's important that you see how partnerships can work, most particularly how they can work in the business context. So check it out. Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio.